Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down into the charts to take another look at XRP, what's been going on with this recent correction and what I think is going to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, well, if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free to sign up. Why not check it out? I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find. Right, let's talk about what's going on here with XRP. So we are just on the hourly chart. We are on Binance as a data source and just paired up with USDT. So to start with, I kind of want to talk about this overall structure. We have some kind of ABC correction. This correction's taken us down towards 82 cents or so. Now, I do want to just kind of draw some trend lines on here because I know that sometimes trend lines help to illustrate the moves of what is going on here. But essentially, there's this triangular wedge potentially appearing just here on XRP, right? And because the directional move is down, we should be expecting this continuation pattern to also lead us down, okay? So what we've got is a downward motion, hit this point, continuation, and then we fall down, okay? Now that correction, when it's complete, I think is going to lead us into an explosive move upwards, and I'm going to go through why I think this, okay? So essentially we've got lots of corrections here within the Elliott wave, and you know, we could be looking at you know, some kind of zigzag or some kind of flat correction or just a standard kind of ABC move to the downside, right? Essentially. Now we had 5 waves up, which was good structure. This coming down here in a relatively deep way is actually a good sign on the bigger time frame, because essentially this could be a wave 2 of this move of these 5 waves up, right? So wave 2s typically are at least 50%, and they typically go down to as much as 88%, right? So when we start thinking about where stuff goes in terms of this price of XRP, we don't want to cross this low point here, okay? So this is our threshold. We cannot drop lower than this point. Now, coming down to here would be a pretty significant pullback, but there are some support levels that we might hit first, right? Specifically around the 82.7, for example. So we want to be mindful, right? Invalidation of the structure on the larger time frame would happen if we were to drop down lower than this point here, and effectively that comes in at a low of 81.85 cents. Okay, so then we're going to keep that in the back of our heads, right? We don't want to drop down lower than that because you lose the slightly larger structure that would be pretty good for an impulsive move upwards, potentially, because you're going to trigger the point of impulsion much sooner with the lower these corrections go. So good to know that. But essentially what you've got is this coiling up, right? We've got a coil going on here, and I think we're going to break down from it. Now, the Stochastic Rsi is high enough to allow us to pull back down. Okay, so you know, on this hourly chart, we should be thinking there's a pullback coming. We can take a look at all the sub wave counts if you want, but essentially, yeah, we are tracking this kind of sub wave move down, and I will just throw that on there actually to kind of give you an idea on where the directional move is coming here. We are looking at 82.57, right? So a little bit shorter, so that's kind of where you might be looking there. Inside here, there's just a load of corrective moves, right? ABC up, ABC down, as we get tighter and tighter into this wedge. Now, you might be inclined to try to count this up as some kind of Elliott wave triangle. I don't really think you've got the right waves for that, or the right structure for it. So I think it's just a wedge that we're getting stuck into that we're going to break down from, and once we hit those low areas, maybe 82.5, you know, we actually basically complete the move and we start to see good traction back out of here. Now, on the 4-hourly chart, we're already in the oversold area on the Stochastic Rsi, right? So we're already in the right area for a move upwards, okay? And you can see it here on this 4-hourly chart. We've got pretty much an undecided market, and what we mean by this is we've essentially got the wicks on the higher side and we've got wicks on the lower side. The market doesn't know what to do with XRP, okay, but obviously this is now coiling up inside this little area, and I think we're going to break down from it. I could be wrong on that, and this C wave low could be here, but I don't think that's the case. I think we're more than likely going to pull out of this area. We'll probably hit, you know, 82.5, and then we'll just move on out. Okay, relatively low corrections, and then we're done. Alternatively, we break up from here, which I think is very unlikely, but it is possible, and then we just start to see a rally out of here, right? And you know, we actually start counting from the bottom here with a wave 1, 2, and then, you know, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, right? But I don't think that's necessarily what we should be expecting. Okay, that's more hopium. But if we come into the 8-hourly chart, and another reason to support the hypothesis of moving down to 82.5 is we've got an 8-hourly stochastic RSI that's not oversold yet. So this, again, coupled with our hourly, allows us to kind of think that we might pull down into this low range, get this oversold, and then we're in a really good position, right? The oversold hourly and oversold 4-hourly and oversold 8-hourly, ready for a good move upwards, right? So XRP could be poised for a really good, push up after a correction of that kind of degree. Now, the daily stochastic RSI is, of course, overbought. So again, all of this stuff, I think, will eventually come to a conclusion. Whether we push up to the $1.03 range that we've been talking about with a bigger ABC move, then we see some kind of deeper correction, I think, is coming. There is a deeper correction coming. It all depends on whether or not we're going to push higher past the 786, which again is where we've wicked up to already. Okay, whether we're going to push past that or when to actually hit our $1.03 target, or whether or not we're just going to pull right down and not actually breach this high point again. Okay, so what happens after that 82.5, in my opinion, is going to be absolutely key as to knowing what structure forms there. If it's just ABC, there isn't much hope, and I think we should just be, resigning to the idea that we're going to be in a corrective move soon, or sooner rather than later. If we actually start to see that as an impulsive move and we start seeing 1, 2, 3, then we expect a fourth and a fifth wave going higher, then essentially, we'll probably push higher than this level, I would have thought, and we might actually end up towards this target, but it really depends on the structure of what appears next, okay, after that corrective move, that short corrective move. So essentially that's what's going on here with the daily. Now, if I zoom on out into our weekly chart, obviously we know that the price action, generally speaking, is it's very choppy, it's very corrective, there's not a huge structure here, and this is pretty much down to everything that's been going on with the SEC, the lawsuit, and Ripple, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, our weekly stochastic RSI is already overbought, so there is a correction coming here on this weekly chart. I've spoken about this before, whether we move down to a double bottom like we were previously over here, or even just over here, there will be a correction coming down, right? We're either going to go to 51, we could come down to 54, or we could lose all of those and go down to the 40 cent range, which is the one that's actually been plotted out, generally speaking. So I'll be a little bit cautious on the weekly time frame. This stochastic RSI can come down very, very fast without doing too much price damage, and that would be the ideal. Something similar to what happened in August of 2020 from that stochastic RSI perspective, which if I come back far enough, we can kind of get an idea on what I'm talking about here. So yeah, this move right here, essentially we were overbought and we moved down to the oversold area, and in doing that we've lost only 33%, right? So that would be the best kind of scenario. Alternatively, we could end up with a different one, which I don't think is the case, but we should be mindful over it, which essentially is the overbought area and the pandemic crash. Okay, so it took us a significant retracement of over 70% to basically correct that stochastic RSI on our weekly chart. Now, also, it's worth noting though, at the same time that that pandemic crash happened, the monthly stochastic RSI was not oversold. Right now, if I jump up into our monthly, you can see that we're oversold. So this correction, I think, is more aligned to what is going, or what happened in August of 2020 versus what happened in March of 2020. Okay, so I'm not expecting a huge correction. I'm thinking, we should be, conservative on it, and maybe we'll see 30, maybe 40%. That would get us down to this double bottom being created here, and I think that's a pretty comfortable area to correct this stochastic RSI. But again, speculation at this point until we start seeing the waves of what is going on there. To summarize, guys, before I wrap this video up, I'm expecting some kind of correction on the hourly chart to start with. Once that correction is in, approximately 82.5 cent, I would expect us to start moving upwards. We'll track it as an ABC to start with, but we ideally would like it to go impulsive. If we go impulsive, I think there's a high probability that we breach the previous high point of 93 cent, I think it was, and then from there, we should be looking at, let me just check that and make sure that is 93 cent. Yeah, 93 cent exactly actually on Binance. So we should breach that 93 cent hopefully if it goes impulsive and go after that $1.03 target. Okay, but again, subject to the various wave counts to make sure that that is actually something that's possible. Do pay attention to the XRP videos that I put out in the coming days and weeks to make sure that everything is on track according to what I think the structure is looking like currently. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.